Hi, and welcome to the DIY Photo Organising Podcast, focusing on topics to help you with your photo management. I'm Chantal from Photos in Order.
And I'm Fiona from Photo Helper. Hi, Chantal.
Hello.
Hello. I'm excited today. We have a lovely guest with us, Vee Lawrey from Gold Coast Photo Life. Hi, Vee. How are you?
Hi, Fiona and Chantal. Great. Thanks for having me on.
Oh, welcome. It's lovely to have you. So today we're going to have a chat with Vee and just learn a little bit more about her business, her love of photos, and why she's doing what she's doing, and maybe how that could work with your own DIY sort of photo progress, where you're at, and even give you some inspiration and thoughts to think about for your own photo projects. So I just want to tell you a little bit about Vee and her business, and then we'll have a chat. So Vee is from, as I said, the business name is Gold Coast Photo Life in Australia, up on the Sunshine Coast. Vee has a love and passion of crafts, and in particular photocrafts, which is the driving force behind her business. And her business started in 1999, so she's been doing this for a while now. And that all started when she was looking for a beautiful scrapbook album to hold photos of her own baby at the time then. And she couldn't really find anything suitable. So as you do, you start your own thing and make it happen. So came across some ideas, started getting into then the manufacturing, and has had a long-term relationship with suppliers. And just sounds like Vee, you've had a great step into business from a passion that's come from a need for you, and then that's a lovely place to then help others that have the same need. So welcome to the podcast.
Thank you.
I'm going to jump in and ask you firstly, could you tell us just a bit about yourself and the business, and maybe also from that point of view of how that story started with you starting the business, as far as what you were really looking for?
Yeah, sure. Well, just to clarify, the business did start in 99, but it was not by me. I came on board later down the track. I can go into that a little bit later. But I guess my passion for photos in particular has stemmed right back from when I was in high school. My friends and I used to make these amazing photo books. Actually, they were just friendship books, and we would create these pages for all of our friends, and we would put photos and poems and drawings and all these things, and we'd end up with this beautiful book at the end of it, and we created them for quite a few years in a row. And I guess that was a form of scrapbooking, not that we sort of thought about scrapbooking back then, and it just sort of carried on as I got older. With the kids being born, photos became even more important, and when I was pregnant with my son, I was looking for, my daughter was only a baby, and I was looking for a photo album or scrapbook to put some new photos in. I'd just gotten into digital scrapbooking, so I had a whole lot of printed beautiful pages that I'd created, and I wanted a beautiful home for them. And I just could not find anything that I liked. Just the quality wasn't there, and I just was really disheartened. It was frustrating, and I thought, I've gone to all this effort, I've spent hours and hours creating all these beautiful pages, and I've printed them out, and that's cost me a lot of money, and I don't have anywhere to put them. So I did what most people do, and I put them in the top of the cupboard. And I thought, right, I'll just keep an eye out for something, and when it appears, I'll know what it is, because I wanted something that was beautiful, something that looked amazing in my bookshelf, or if I had it sitting on a coffee table, that someone would, be inspired to pick it up. And I wanted something that was more traditional. I didn't want to have it with all different colours printed all over the cover. I didn't want it to be plasticky. I wanted it to be something that would last, because what I had created, I wanted to be able to hand down to my kids, as my mum's done with things she's given to me. And I wanted it to last. That was the main thing. I didn't want in 5 years' time to go and look at it and the book's all falling apart. So I had a few requirements for these albums, and there was just nothing around, and it was just so upsetting. So I just put it to the back of my mind and I carried on. And years went by, and I was actually looking for just to make some extra money and maybe do a little home business. And I looked on Gumtree one day, and there was this business for sale, and it said photographic supplies business. I thought, oh, that sounds interesting. I'm not a photographer. I do like photos and taking photos and so on, but I thought, well, this might be interesting. So I inquired about it, and the man said to me, oh, it's actually photo albums. And why don't you go and have a look at this website and just tell me what you think? Now, he was the original owner back from 99, so he'd been running it for 19 years. And he needed to, due to health reasons, he was selling. He didn't want to sell. He's very, very passionate about it. And he had strict requirements as to who he was going to sell it to. And so I went to have a look at this website, and I thought, this is exactly what I was looking for.
Isn't that amazing?
Believe it. And that was about 8 or 9 years after I had created all of these beautiful pages,
which was safely in the drawer somewhere, easily accessible,
still sitting in the envelope up on the top shelf in the cupboard. And I thought, this is quite strange that this has come along, and it's the perfect thing. And so I obviously went back and we chatted more, and it I ended up going ahead and purchasing the business, which was really nice, because he had turned down a few people, not due to money or anything, but because he only wanted to sell it to someone who was passionate about these products. So it was a nice way for him to finish off in the business, handing it on to someone who is very enthusiastic about these products too. So it was really just, I guess, just sort of fell into my lap. And so that was in 2018. So I've been the owner of this business for over 3 years now. And I can say that every day I still get up and enjoy it and look forward to talking to customers and packing the orders and all of those things. It's exciting, and it is just a really lovely business to be in.
That's a lovely story. I love that. Thanks so much for sharing that. It really is. These things just seem to fall into place when they're supposed to, don't they, Vee?
I think they do. I really do.
Yeah. And I can tell that interest in photos has obviously been a long-standing one for you. I'm interested to find out, so the products, well, what you were looking for, you said quite clearly was something beautiful, something long-standing, something of higher quality. So how are these albums that you supply, how are they different to, say, if someone's thinking about going down to their local sort of a store and getting sort of what's on the shelf? And also I'm interested to find out if they're sort of what your take on archival quality and photo safe type components, acid free and things like that. If you can just sort of share from on the product side of things a bit about that.
Yes, sure. So photo safe comes from the components in the album being acid and lignin free. So lignin is actually an acid that comes out of wood pulp. So as long as the products that you're storing your photos in are acid and lignin free, then they will last a very long time in either the book or the box, whatever you're choosing to store your photos in. it's very important that you do look for that. And a lot of good quality paper products will say that on there now. Even a lot of just standard printing paper will say acid free on it. It's important. I think probably everyone has photo albums from generations ago that when you open them, everything's yellow and brittle and just falling apart. And that was before everything became photo safe, so to speak. And that yellowy is coming from the acid that's coming out of the paper, and it does deteriorate the photos over time. Archival quality is another totally separate sort of property to an album, and the products do go through a testing, which we did with ours. I did that early on, really just for my own peace of mind, and they were fine. They came up. I was told when I took on the business that everything was of archival standard, and but being new, you want to be able to have peace of mind that you're actually selling what you say you're selling. So there is a company, I think down in Melbourne, where to send our things to, and they go through the whole process of putting the albums through a testing to see whether they stand up to whether they withstand all of the testing for an archival product. And ours came through with flying colours. So
that's great.
But yeah, not every photo safe product will be archival either. But the products that we use all the materials we use in our products are from Europe. They're all manufactured, all the Coral Coast items are manufactured in Sri Lanka. And they're actually handmade. The staff that are in that factory they've been working in that. People who own that factory created the factory when Coral Coast was established as well. So the previous owner to Coral Coast was friends with the factory in Sri Lanka, and together as a friendship, they both created new businesses and started working together. So Coral Coast has a relationship with this factory for over 20 years now, and it's a family business, and all the manufacturing that's done there is all done by the community. So it's a small community. It's all so just a big family. It's really nice.
Isn't it great?
Yeah.
Supporting the community. Have you been there? Did you visit?
No, I haven't been yet. I would like to. I do talk to them on the phone and obviously on email, and I've seen lots of photos and have all the information from the previous owner who went there many times, and he also created Sri Lanka is quite a poor country, and the community that was working in the factory, the school didn't actually have a proper toilet facility. And what the owner of Coral Coast did, he actually used some of the profits from his business to create a whole brand new toilet block. And I've got photos I have had on the website before of these beautiful children so excited to be standing in front of this brand new toilet block. And it's just things like that from buying a simple product like a photo album made in a Sri Lankan community can actually help them so much with just everyday stuff that we don't even think about.
Yeah, that's so good.
It is. So what I'm interested, what's your view? Because I know often people that have photos they'll think more along the lines of, say, a digital scrapbook or, say, a photo book and things like that. What's your experience with people moving into this, what I would call maybe the traditional style of an album, where you print a photo first, slide it into something? And yeah, so what's your view on, what's your sort of experience with people wanting to get back into this sort of a style of a photo album, so to speak, of how to view and display their photos?
Yeah, well, there's a few different ways that you can go about this. It depends on, I guess, how much time you have, how, if you want to be creative with the way that you put your photos into your albums, the way that you display them. A lot of my customers that will buy the slip-in albums will do so because they'll print a whole lot of photos and it will take them 5 minutes to pop it into their album and it's all done. But the advantage of having your photos in like a slip-in pocket is that you can just pull them out and reprint them, or scan them and reprint them easily. When they're in the photo books are nice. I do like photo books too, but I guess being more of a creative person, I like to put handwritten notes and things in my albums. So I guess it's a little bit more difficult with a photo book to try and scan a photo and also to get the high quality resolution. With a printed photo that you might have done at a proper photo shop, they'll be very good quality and more easier to scan. And you guys probably know that too. You'll do lots of scanning for your customers, and to have a loose photo, no matter sort of how old it is much easier than maybe trying to scan something that's in a book. So that's one option, and a reason why slip-in photo albums are great. And people may just, they do just print out their photos, store them in the slip-in pockets, not even to use it as a photo album, but just as a storage place, because again, years down the track, you can just pull them out and reprint them, or scan, or put them onto a USB, or put them onto your computer and use them in another way, but they're very easily accessible. And also with the slip-in pockets, you're not having glue or anything on the back of them to keep them in the album. They're just sitting in there freely. So that's one way. The other way is to do a dry mount album, which is just a plain page, and you can attach your photos of any size, or you can have different sized photos on the one page. You can display them in all different creative ways. You can write handwritten notes all around it. So if you're someone who likes to be a bit creative, maybe even do some art on the inside around these photos, you can do that too. And with having handwritten notes next to your photos, it brings the reader closer to the person who's created the album. So when I go back and see something that, say, my mum's created a photo album from when I was a child and she's written some handwritten notes, that's actually her handwriting, and it makes me feel very close to her and get more of an idea of maybe how she was feeling at the time. You can imagine her writing it, spending the time to sit there and to do this, you know, much like if you had received a handwritten letter from someone, which we don't really do these days.
That's true. Few and far between.
Yeah, you have to realise that the person has taken the time to sit down and handwrite this.
Yeah.
Can I ask, with the dry mount that you just mentioned, what's your favourite way to stick the photos to the pages? Do you use photo corners or?
Yes, so there's a few different ways. So photo corners is very popular because, again, like the slip-in pockets, they're not actually attached to the page itself. It's easy just to pop the photos out when you need to. And there's quite a few decorative photo corners these days as well, which can make the page look really smart. The other way is just an acid-free adhesive like a glue stick, glue rollers. You can actually get photo dots, and as long as you look for the acid free on the front of the packet of whatever you're buying, you'll be fine with that. And a lot of times you will be able to remove it down the track easily. There are some that are permanent, but they will say on it that it's a permanent adhesive. So you just need to, I guess, think about what you will be using it for. If you may need to take the photos out at another stage, then photo corners would be a good option for you.
And I've seen that there are the clear ones, so you can actually hardly see them. It's not like
that's right.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. They don't have to be intruding on the photo. Yeah.
Can I ask, with the slip in, because we've been talking about acid and lignin free, obviously in the slip ins there's plastic involved. So, but they're safe to use.
Yes, not all plastic is, but we've used a plastic that has gone through the testing and is photo safe. So again, as long as you're looking for a product that does say photo safe on it, it would have been through the testing, whether that's with the manufacturer of the plastic. Our photo albums are obviously made up of lots of different components, so each manufacturer of the component will do their own testing, and then once the photo album is all put together, we actually did a testing of the whole thing together to see that everything stacks up. So yeah.
Sorry, I interrupted you. We were flip in and then dry man albums. Yes, sorry.
Yes, yeah. Also, scrapbooks. Scrapbooks are very popular for many reasons. They have a top-loading sleeve. They're a plastic sleeve, clear plastic sleeve, and they usually come in all different sizes. A traditional scrapbook size is a 12 by 12 inch, but we have them in a few different sizes, and they're popular for many reasons. For one, I use mine for when I do digital scrapbooking, that I can go and print it out, print the page out at the Photoshop, and then come back and pop it into the album. I might do 2 or 3 copies, so then I can give some away, and I can just store them in that one pocket. And if I have someone, family member, who might be looking through it and say, oh, that's so amazing, I love that one, and you can just give them one. It's all stored in the one pocket. It's really handy.
You keep your other copies of that one behind.
Yes, you can just pop them all in, because it's just a plastic sleeve pretty much. Plastic sleeve, so you can store lots of different things in it. We have customers who are marriage celebrants, and they'll give one to the couple that they're marrying, and they'll give it to them with their wedding certificate in it, what they've signed on the day. And then the couple who have gotten married, they may put copies of their vows in there, the ones that they've either handwritten or printed out. Things that you might not put in a photo album that might be loose. So, when people have things that you put into albums that sort of you put in there for safe storing. You put things in there for safe storing, like when the kids were born, we've kept the bracelets from the hospital. And if you pop them into a photo album, they can easily fall out, but in a scrapbook, they're in a nice secure pocket. So you can create them for lots of different reasons. So marriage and birth certificates. I've got a few big scrapbooks that I've created for the kids for all their school photos, all their sporting certificates. So like everything that they've done at school and in sports for all of their primary school years, that's a whole album. And with scrapbooks, you can add pages. So when you run out of pages.
Yeah, I like that variety. Yeah, that flexibility.
Yeah.
So I'm interested because being that we're photo organisers and we're all talking about photos and organising photos, obviously you use these beautiful albums and scrapbooks and things like that for yourself. How do you go about, just out of interest, with your own organisation of your own photos? So do you put all your photos printed like from previous years, like all of your own childhood stuff? Do you use sort of for storage, or how have you gone about sort of managing your own photos?
Yes. So I have a digital copy of all of probably the last 10 or so years. They're all stored on my Google Photos. And I do regularly go and print out the photos that I like. So people aren't printing photos as much as they used to. Gone are the days where we would take a handful of films and little canisters down to the chemist and print them out. So people are quite picky about what they do print. We have on our fridge, we have a photo for each month, and we just update it. We have 12 months running at a time, and then we update it. We have a favourite photo for the month, so we go through and look to see what is our favourite photo, and we'll print that one out. And then when that's finished, that will go back into another album. So yeah, I do. I have lots of photos. I have them in slip-in albums. I have them in scrapbooks. I have them in dry mat albums. And I also have stacks of printed photos that are just in photo-safe boxes. And you can get just nice little boxes that fit a 4x6 photo. And if I'm doing a new album, if I'm making a gift for someone, I'll go through all these printed photos that are in the boxes, and I can pick out, usually I can find quite a few that I can pick out and create a whole new album for.
Yeah.
So with your digital photos, just again out of interest, because we're talking about photo management also, do you use a special software on your computer to manage your photos, and what I'd love to hear what you use to design your digital scrapbooks.
So to designing the scrapbook layouts, I use Canva. So you can have that as a free or a paid version. The free version is absolutely fine. It does everything that you need it to, and you can easily download and print from there as well. So I do that. I have a few templates on my website actually for scrapbooks that people can go in and use on Canva for free. And I use Google Photos a lot, and I find the quality, the upload is good, the storage is good. That's just my personal preference because I'm a Google user and an Android user. So it syncs to my phone. So I know there's lots of programs that can do it. This one in particular I like because I don't have to think about it. So actually, as a family, my husband and I both have our phones synced to this one Google Photos account so that all the photos get stored on there, and we can just go in and have a look. So I'll get a notification. There was a notification yesterday that my husband had uploaded a couple of photos. It just did it automatically from his phone, and they were, the first days back at school, kids wearing the new uniforms. So that's all on there. We don't have to think about, we need to download that. But I do like to do a backup, and I have a hard drive that I also keep things on because I guess with anything digital, and especially if you don't own the platform, you never know how long it's going to be around for. I'm sure Google's going to be around for a very long time, but just for peace of mind, I guess I like to have it on a hard drive too. Yeah.
That's exactly what we always tell our listeners.
Yep.
Good. Okay, I'm on the right track.
Yay, that's it. Vee, thank you so much for sharing all of that today. I think it's been really helpful just to hear your insight and your fresh ideas about how you use albums and how some of your customers use album. And I really hope that the listeners have got a lot of benefit out of sort of just hearing your story and just some options out there and some different ways to think about their printed photos or even their digital photos and printing them. Yeah. How can people find you or learn more about you and your products if they were wanting to reach out?
Sure. So just straight to our website. It's the easiest way. So photo-life.com.au, photolife.com.au with just a hyphen in the middle. You'll find us there. We've got a new range of scrapbooks that have just been released this week. And we have a special running until the 16th of February for a discount and a free gift. So just for use, if you use the coupon PHOTO22, PHOTO22 at checkout, you'll get a free gift and you'll get a good discount on those scrapbooks.
Oh, lovely.
We'll put that in the show notes with the direct link to your site. Really inspired and motivated myself, for my own photos.
Yeah, likewise.
Maybe have a close look also at the scrapbooking, because I'm always saying I'm not a scrapbooker, but what you said with the sleeves and all that, it really, it sounds interesting. I want to check that out.
Yeah, great. I think it's a good motivation for a different way of looking at storing the photos as well. Yeah, that's fabulous. Thank you so much.
Great. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, you're welcome. So, Chantal, do you want to wrap us up here?
So, look, it's always the same pretty much. We at this point, we want to invite you to sign up for our newsletter so that we can keep in touch, and you'll always be the first to know if, obviously, when a new episode comes out, but also if you've got specials or anything other running. And if you have questions or particular topics that interest you, we have a link, and you also find that in the show notes and on our website with a little wish list. So you can let us know by filling in a quick form, like takes you 2 minutes, and you can let us know what you'd like to know about photo organising, and we can then talk about it in one of our next episodes and answer your questions. And of course, as always, we're on social media. You can leave us reviews, feedback, and be in touch with us that way. And I think that's it for today.
That's great.
Happy Photo Organising. And I'm Chantal from Photos in Order.
And I'm Fiona from Photo Helper. And Vee, thank you again so much for joining us. It's been lovely having you on the podcast today.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Okay. Bye for now.
Bye.
Bye.